Hey Retro fans, welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Memories. In this episode I'm going to talk about my PlayStation collection for the original PlayStations, well PlayStation 1. I still call it PlayStation because that's what it was, it wasn't PlayStation 1 back in the day. Anywho, semantics aside, I've got a stack of games just off camera here, and I'm just going to run through them, basically talk a little bit about each, memories of the games and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get stuck in. So the first game is an oldie, High Octane. In the days of Wipeout, was Wipeout out when this was out? I can't remember. But anyway, High Octane is very similar to Wipeout. You're a craft. You can pick several different crafts, all different types. Not different classes like Wipeout, but like there's a big truck and there's a car and all sorts of stuff. And it's a racing game, but you get weapons, a la Wipeout. It was done by Bullfrog, and I first played this on the PC. And when I stopped being a PC gamer, when I kind of moved to being a console gamer, High Octane was a game that I got free with my Pentium 90, and I quite enjoyed it. And I thought when I found out it was available for the PlayStation, I thought I'm going to get this. I had it for the Saturn as well. But I think the PlayStation version is kind of slightly better than the Saturn. But yeah, great little game. Not as good as Wipeout, I don't think, but still great fun. So yeah. These aren't in remotely any order, so there'll be sequels before prequels. So Gran Turismo 2. The Gran Turismo series was obviously iconic on the PlayStation. Gran Turismo 2 just kind of got better, although the intro music in this is like some jazz nonsense, which was disappointing, because I liked the mix of rock and sort of club type tunes that were in the first Gran Turismo. But Gran Turismo 2, Future Cop LAPD. Now I didn't have this back in the day. But this is a kind of unofficial fourth game in the Strike series, the sort of Desert Strike, etc. series. Fourth game? No, last game. God, there was more than four, wasn't there? Anyway, it's part of the Strike series. It plays very similar to the Strike series, except you're in a sort of Ed 209 type robot thing. But it spins about like the Strike series. The mechanics are all the same. It's not rare, but it's not common. But the graphics in it are great. It's good fun. If you like the sort of Desert Strike series, it's worth checking out. Formula 1. I was going to say Formula 197. Just Formula 1. This was amazing. I mean, the first time I saw this on the PlayStation, I actually rented this from Blockbuster Video, and it's got Murray Walker in it doing the commentary and all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember if it's this or Formula 197. It's got a Joe Satriani track at the start of it, which was just fantastic, that I loved. But a great Formula 1 game. Runs like a dream. The 3D graphics and stuff in it are really nice. So thoroughly recommended. Fighting Force. When I moved to the PlayStation era, I really missed the kind of brawler beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage and stuff that I played on my Mega Drive. So Fighting Force is a 3D brawler. Pick stuff up and hit people with things and punch things and blow cars up. It's reminiscent of Die Hard Arcade. It's like a clone of that, but done by Core and Eidos, the guys that did Tomb Raider and whatnot. But good game. Quite an early release, but good fun. Another early release, Fade to Black, the sequel to Flashback. Great game. It's harder than Flashback because it's sort of third person perspective. It suffered from a floaty camera, so it was intriguing. It was more of the same. It was quite good, but it was, remembering back now, the controls, the camera was a little bit dodgy in it, so that could make it slightly frustrating at times, but still a good game, worth checking out. Driver 2. The Driver series was awesome. I love Driver. the was it a Shelby GT that you got, the initial car, sounded fantastic, and having that kind of open sandbox, being able to drive about, go anywhere you wanted to, and the feel of that sort of 70s cop chase was just captured perfectly. And in Driver 2 you could get out your car and walk about and take other people's cars and all that kind of stuff. So more of the same, slightly enhanced graphics and all that kind of stuff, but good fun. The original Driver, hopefully everybody knows about Driver. Great game. It was ported to the PC as well, but just astounding. Being able to kind of edit your own movies together as well, the kind of cop movies, the chase movies, was great fun, but just a great series overall. Bizarrely, out of all these kind of Driver, Gran Turismo type games, Driver's the only one I really like. I must be the only guy on the planet that doesn't like Gran Turismo? Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Anyway, Die Hard Trilogy 2, what's it called? Viva Las Vegas. The original Die Hard Trilogy was great fun, an original sort of license on the PlayStation, and it came out on the Saturn as well. Let you play through the 3 Die Hard films. So you had the I can't remember what was in this actually. Driving, you had the shooting levels and the sort of third person kind of running about it. So it was more of the same as the first one, but yeah, it's just over the top, silly nonsense, but great fun. Point Blank. I love light gun games, always have. Operation Wolf is my favourite game ever, but light gun games are brilliant, and the PlayStation just does them beautifully. So this is an arcade port, just great fun, silly Japanese nonsense, but brilliant fun, especially if you've got 2 light guns and you play with your friends if you've got them round. It's just brilliant fun. Nuclear Strike. Like I mentioned, I love the Desert Strike series, and Nuclear Strike was the sequel to Urban Strike. I'm trying to remember the order they went in. Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, and then was it Nuclear Strike, or was Soviet Strike before this? I can't remember. But anyway, it's somewhere in the series, in the Strike series, but good fun. Downhill mountain biking. This was another title. I'm not really a sports guy. I don't really do sports. In fact, I don't do sports at all unless it's darts or snooker. But yeah, I hired this. Another hire from the video shop. It's a Codemasters game, and I was amazed at how well it captured mountain biking. I mean, when this came out, mountain biking had started. It was like, I think it was early 90s. And mountain biking had really caught on as a kind of off-road sport and all that kind of stuff. I went to college with a couple of guys who were crazy into mountain biking. I remember it being a big thing, but this captured the feel of it perfectly, and the graphics were great. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd game to have, but it's a cracker. It's good fun. MDK. This was an amazing release when it came out. That sort of being able to switch between third and first person, the graphics in it are brilliant, the sniper mechanics in it are great, there's a bit of black humour in it and all that kind of stuff, and you can jump off of things and extend a parachute, which lets you kind of float into other spaces and stuff. It's great fun, and I think it was pretty iconic on the PlayStation as well at the time. But International Superstar Soccer Pro, ISS Pro. This was a great football game. I loved like the Actua Soccer series and all that kind of stuff. This was the first one that really did it in full proper 3D. I can't remember if it did it before FIFA, but this was more playable than FIFA. And I've got a bit of nostalgia for this because my nephews used to play this. I remember them coming up and wanting to play this on the PlayStation, and they had it themselves. So yeah, nostalgia for football. I'm not a big football guy, like I mentioned. I don't really do sports, but this is good fun just to kind of have a kick about. I don't think there's any licensed teams in it. I can't quite remember, but Siphon Filter 2. Siphon Filter series was amazing. Great sort of spy espionage type story. Third person graphics. You know, run about, shoot stuff, climb over things. It's hard to explain, but the Siphon Filter series is, I think it's still going today. It was certainly still going on the PlayStation 2. I don't know if it made it to the PS3, but it was still going. Aye, it was a good series. Soviet Strike, again part of the series. I can't remember if this came before or after Nuclear Strike, but more of the same. I'm going to try and stop saying these are good fun, because you know they're good fun. Ridge Racer Revolution. Now I can't remember where this came in the series, because there was Ridge Racer, and then I think this might have been the kind of next one, where they kind of remastered bits and bobs of it and added new things in. But bizarrely, the Ridge Racer games I only ever really played. I never played them in arcade. So my exposure to them was really on the PlayStation, and I never really hit the arcade. So Ridge Racer to me is a PlayStation game rather than an arcade game, and I think the PlayStation port is a cracking port. You know, runs really fast, no slow down, all the music's there. Yeah, brilliant. Point Blank 2, more shooty gunny nonsense. Yeah, just light gun game, brilliant. So Motor Racer 2, this was done by Delphine. I've actually got Motor Racer as well. Might as well do the two at once. Stop getting the glare. There we go. Motor Racer and Motor Racer 2. Fantastic bike games. Done by Delphine, the guys that did Flashback and Fade to Black and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a departure to go from the best-selling kind of rotoscoped platform game to a bike racing game. But they did it really well. It's so fast, and you can jump between third person and first person on the bike view, which works really well. It sounds great as well. So I think Motor Racer is more the kind of sort of TT bike type things. Motor Racer 2, you start to get dirt bikes and all that kind of thing. So there was a few more. There was like Motor Racer World Tour and whatnot. It did quite well, but a great motorbike racing series, if you like that kind of thing. 007 Tomorrow Never Dies. Just a great Bond license. Plays really well. I remember sitting playing this. I was a janitor years and years ago. And in the summer holidays I used to take my PlayStation into the school, because I was babysitting the school. Basically there was no one in it, but you just had to be there in case tradesmen or whatever needed in. I used to take my PlayStation in and I sat and played Tomorrow Never Dies for hours on end. It was brilliant, getting paid to play PlayStation games. It's not like that now, but hey. Tekken. This sold the PlayStation, I think. The original Tekken was fantastic. I didn't actually get this with my PlayStation. My pal Jason got this with his PlayStation, and we used to play it together all the time. Loved my fighting games, and Tekken was just spectacular. And it looked so good. And it was brought out to rival Virtua Fighter on the Saturn, and I always preferred Tekken to Virtua Fighter. I just thought there was more to it. Especially when you get to like Tekken 2 and beyond, which I've got here. Siphon Filter 3, more of the same. I think there was the first three were on the original PlayStation. They're great games. Gabe Logan and all that kind of stuff was the main character. You should just check out Siphon Filter if you haven't already. Even the PSP games are good as well. There was a PSP set. Tony Hawk Skateboarding, much like that mountain biking game. The skateboarding engine that they've got in this, obviously everybody knows Tony Hawk Skateboarding now, it's still going, but the original PlayStation was brilliant. It was the first time you felt like you were actually skateboarding. I did actually like skateboarding when I when I was a nipper. When I was a kid, I had my skateboard and all that kind of stuff, and I was pretty good at falling off it. So this let me do all the tricks that I always wanted to try but never had the bottle to try. You know, I didn't want to try and flip my skateboard for fear of falling off and breaking my face. So this let you do all the tricks without, you know, worrying, and it did make you wince when Tony Hawk falls off his board and, you know, cracks his face off a barrel or something like that, or off the deck. But anyway, Tony Hawk skateboarding, great game. Time Crisis Project Titan. This was a PlayStation exclusive follow-up to Time Crisis. So it's kind of Time Crisis 1.5, because there was Time Crisis 2 that came out on the PlayStation 2. But this was never released on Earth, and it wasn't a port of the arcade game, it was an original for the PlayStation. And it's brilliant. It's more of the same if you like Time Crisis, but it's great. There's different modes in it and all that kind of stuff. Good replay value. Really nice to see an exclusive just for the PlayStation. Gran Turismo, the original and the best, supports DualShock. Yeah, you can't really say much about Gran Turismo. It's such an iconic series, brilliant, and playing it with the DualShock was great. You know, having the rumble feature and all that kind of stuff, and having that analog control of your steering and your accelerator and brakes and stuff really gave it a new dimension that really hadn't been felt before in video games. You've got to remember back when this all happened. Obviously now it's just, you know, commonplace for all that kind of stuff, but back in the day, to have analog control of your steering and your car, and that rumble feature, you know, all built in, was just brilliant. And obviously the music and the graphics are just iconic now. It's just great series. Tekken 3, this was just such a leap. Each of the Tekken releases, Tekken 1 was amazing, Tekken 2 was such a leap from Tekken 1, Tekken 3 was a huge leap. This was almost PlayStation 2 quality graphics on a PS1. Looked beautiful, played flawlessly. It was an arcade port. There was loads, I can't mind how many fighters are in it, but loads and loads of fighters. And there was extra modes in it. Was it Tekken Ball in this one? Tekken Ball and Tekken Force. So there was I can't remember what Tekken Ball was actually. Was it a bowling type game? But Tekken Force was a sort of brawler where you know you could run about and beat up loads of guys that came towards you. It wasn't a one-on-one thing. So loads of extra modes in this. So a really nice package. Tekken 3 is just astounding. It's a great continuation of the series. Let's just jump to its little brother, big brother, whatever. Tekken 2. This was a game that I got with my PlayStation when I bought it. Not this actual copy, but Tekken 2 itself. And it was amazing. Like I said, I played Tekken with my pal Jason, and Tekken 2 was a jump above as well. Extra characters, more polygons, just looked nice, played really buttery smooth. Brilliant game. Let's see. Track and Field, part of the Platinum series, which was the budget sort of re-releases. Pretty sure these were $14.99 back in the day. I remember buying mine from Dixon's in the Gyle. I used to go in after work and get the bus back to the Gyle in Edinburgh, and yeah, I went in and usually if I'd been paid, I used to get paid weekly at that point. I was an electrician, and I used to go in and just have the kind of urge to buy a game. Didn't buy one every week, but you know, and I was too tight to buy full price releases unless it was something I really wanted. I used to wait for sales and everything like that. But the Platinum releases were brilliant because you got the full game for half the price or less. And I bought this because I used to love Track and Field in the arcade. And I love like Daley Thompson's Decathlon and all that kind of stuff on the 8-bit computers and things. So I liked the kind of sport mechanic, the athletics mechanic. And this was a great little game. Let's say 14 quid. There's all sorts in it. Just the running and shot put and all that kind of stuff, and swimming. Just a button basher, but great fun to play with your pals. the original Die Hard trilogy. I got this. Can't remember when I bought it, but I loved that the second level was basically Virtua Cop. It did it really well. It's got three games based on the first three Die Hard movies. First one, you're running about Nakatomi Plaza, and it's a third person type thing, save the hostages and all that kind of thing. Second level is a shootout. You can't use the G-Con gun though. You need to use was it a Scorpion? It was called. It's sort of third party gun. For some reason, it didn't support the G-Con gun that like Time Crisis and stuff did. And then the third story I think was a driving game, but I only used to play the shooting part of it because I loved Virtua Cop in the arcades. Virtua Cop was a Saturn exclusive. It was never ported to anything else until the PlayStation 2. But that was as close as you could get, so it was great fun. And 14 quid for 3 games basically. What's not to like about that? Another budget release, Alien Trilogy. Fantastic atmosphere in this is brilliant. Looks really nice. The only gripe I had about this is when you shoot your gun, it feels like there's a bit of a delay. The bullets feel like they're kind of a bit slow. But the atmosphere in this is fantastic. The use of the motion tracker was just a genius idea in the movie, but using it in this just ramps up the tension and makes you really, really, it's just so tense, it's ridiculous. 007, The World Is Not Enough. Another good Bond license. Graphics were slightly better than the previous release, but just more of the same, typical Bond stuff. But cracking first person shooter. V-Rally. This was the PlayStation equivalent of Sega Rally. A great game, apart from the jazz soundtrack at the beginning. Games like this, you want a thumping arcade, sort of dancey soundtrack. You don't want jazz. It doesn't really do much for you, but this played really well, really nice and fast, great graphics, and you could flip the car in it, by mistake obviously, but if you drove up like embankments and hit trees and things, the car would flip around and actually roll over and things. So great kind of arcade racing rally game. So thoroughly recommended. There was a couple of them and it came out on the N64 and stuff as well. Don't know if it got a Saturn release, but a great game. Total Driving by Ocean, which was quite a late release in the Ocean license, in the Ocean saga, sorry. But Total Driving is just an arcade racer, kind of Gran Turismo-esque. It's like Gran Turismo meets V-Rally meets, I don't know. It's just a sort of third-person driving game, but it's great fun, really fast. Physics in it are great, and I love that you can play Scotland tracks in this. I don't know who might have had the influence to get Scotland tracks in it, but I have my suspicions, but I'll keep them to myself for now. But yeah, great driving game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. More of the same of the Tony Hawk series, but improved it slightly. I think there was more skaters in it, more tricks. It was more fluid, but just a great license. This came with a demo of Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX as well, which was cool because they were starting to branch out into the sort of extreme sports at that point. A few more double sort of clamshells here. Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. I did have this for the PC, and I picked it up. I got this pretty cheap, and I thought, you know what, it's all right. It improved on the original Rebel Assault. You had sort of shootout type levels where you were, I don't think you were Luke Skywalker, I can't remember, I don't think you were Luke, but you were certainly an X-Wing pilot, and the stormtroopers would all run about the room and you could shoot them and stuff. So it had sort of third person type shooting elements to it, which was great fun, and fly the Millennium Falcon. So yeah, just more of the kind of Rebel Assault license. I don't think Rebel Assault 1 came out on the PlayStation. I don't know if that was a PC exclusive. Well, it wasn't an exclusive because I've got it in the Sega Mega CD. So it did come out on other things, but I don't think it came out on the PlayStation. Anyway. Ridge Racer, the original. Such a cracking racing game. So fast. Just pure adrenaline arcade nonsense, and being able to drift your car about roundabout corners. If you want to, you don't have to, but drifting your car around corners just gives it a great feel. And yeah, if you get a steering wheel with this, you're laughing. It's great. Next up is Reloaded. Now, I got this with my PlayStation. I can't remember how many games I got with my PlayStation. I bought my PlayStation from Dixon's back in the day, from the Guile shop that I was mentioning earlier. And I remember getting Tekken 2 and Time Crisis with the G-Con gun pack. And I got a couple of others. Reloaded, I think, was one of the bundle games that Dixon's put in. It's by Gremlin, and I'm sure the art, can't mind who did the art, but it was one of the guys that did a lot of art for like 2000 AD and things, I think. So the cover art's brilliant. The game's just a kind of running about, shoot everything that moves, sort of Chaos Engine type thing. It's good fun. Switch your brain off and shoot stuff. The granddaddy of them all, Doom. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I've played many ports of Doom. I quite like the N64 port of Doom. It's totally different to the PC version, but Doom 64 is quite good. But Doom on the PlayStation is, as far as I can remember, PC perfect. It's a perfect port. Plays beautifully. And it works really well on the joypad as well, which some of these kind of first person shooters lose in transition, but this plays really well. And the music in this is great. The original MIDI soundtracks that were in Doom were good for the time. But this does CD audio and all that kind of stuff, and kind of enhances them, and there's some audio trickery going on, so there's like reverb and things happening, so it just sounds great, and it plays really well, plays full screen and all that. Pick these two up together. Oops, try not to drop it. Destruction Derby 1 and 2. This was just a brilliant, fun series. Just drive your car about on a racetrack or in a bowl and smash into the other cars. You can try and race. I don't think anybody ever raced. I think everybody just drove into the bowl and smashed each other's cars up. Brilliant fun, totally over the top American announcers and all that kind of stuff. Great fun. Especially if you get pals involved. The last little lump here. Air Combat, one of the original Platinum releases in a smaller kind of box. But yeah, great sort of arcade flight. I don't want to say flight simulator. It's not a flight simulator, but it's an arcade flying game where you can have cockpit view or kind of external views of the planes. Totally silly, over the top nonsense, but great fun. It's Namco, so I can't remember if it was an arcade port, but it's certainly got an arcade feel because it's Namco. But great fun. Really fast as well. So the game that I got with my PlayStation, Time Crisis. I remember playing Time Crisis in the arcade in Portobello in Edinburgh. And it was huge, and at the time arcade games were 30p a go, and Time Crisis was £1 a go. And I nearly spent my whole budget in 10 minutes playing. I think I spent £5 playing Time Crisis because I'd never seen it before, and it was a huge cabinet. Can't remember, was it a 40-inch monitor that was in it? Anyway, it was a huge monitor, and having the Mechanica standing on a pedal with a light gun, it was just totally different. They're taking the kind of light gun game to the next level. And I loved the arcade game. And when I saw that it was coming out on the PlayStation, which I didn't have at the time, this was what convinced me to get the PlayStation. Great arcade game, and the port is really good. And it just plays beautifully. And there's extra modes in it and all that kind of stuff, so well worth a look if you like your light gun shooters. the original Siphon Filter. Spoken about it in the other series, but yeah. Soul Blade. This was an amazing arcade port, fighter, one-on-one fighter with weapons. There's a story to it where the Soul Blade, I think, is the blade that I think it's got the souls of fallen enemies in it or something like that, and you have to fight all the guys to try and get the Soul Blade. Can't quite remember because, yeah, you just go on and you just pummel the buttons and have fun. There's a guy in it called Mitsurugi who's got, what's he got? Nunchakas with blades on the end of them, and he's just fantastic. He flips them about all over the place. The animation in it is beautiful, the graphics are great, and it's so fast and just crazy arcade fighting, but great game. And lastly, another fighting game, but a thinking man's fighting game, Bushido Blade. Now I've still got all the stickers on this because A, they're a pain in the butt to peel off, but B, I quite like that it's a little snapshot of history from Electronics Boutique. So it's got that it's a new release, but it's obviously been on, oh no, that's when you trade in games. So it's 35 quid, but if you trade in 2 working video games of the same format, and they had, you know, it was basically titles that had been released a week later, so if you traded in 60 quid's worth of stuff and gave them 15 quid, you could get the game that was £35. It was just stupid, but this was a great game, because it was sword fighting, one-on-one fighters, but you could kill your opponent with one hit. So you had like critical hits and all that kind of stuff, and you could change your stance, which affected the moves that you did. So there was a lot of sort of strategy to it. You know, you could just run in and hack and slash, but if you did that, generally you were going to get beaten, especially in the later levels. But yeah, great fighting game with a bit of thought to it. So worth checking out if you haven't. So it's Bushido Blade, just in case you can't see it. Great game. Anyway, that's it. That is the PlayStation collection. So yeah, I hope you've had fun watching it. I hope there's a few titles that you'd maybe forgotten about and you think, I'm going to go and play that immediately. Or stuff that you've maybe not seen before, and you know, it's maybe inspired you to go and check it out. PlayStation's a great machine. You know, I've done a video on it earlier on, and I still love it to this day. And the fact you can pick up a PlayStation 2 and play these on a PS2 is brilliant. But yeah, so anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Feel free to get in touch if you want to about any of this stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.